What if the greatest thief of your potential was not failure, not weakness, not lack of talent, but a whisper, a quiet voice in your mind that says, "You are not ready. You are not enough. Who are you to try?" That voice, subtle yet persuasive, has stolen more dreams than defeat ever could. Self-doubt does not roar. It murmurs, and in its softness lies its power. But what if you could silence that whisper forever? What if doubt itself was not truth, but only a habit of thought? And like any habit, it could be broken. Think of a time you wanted to speak up, to share your idea, to take a bold step. Yet hesitation wrapped its chains around you. You wondered, what if they laugh? What if I fail? So you stayed quiet, you stayed safe, and afterward, a storm brewed inside. Regret. This is how doubt conquers, not with a sword, but with silence. Every time you wait for permission, every time you choose hesitation over courage, you give power to the lie that you are not enough. Millions live their entire lives this way. Brilliant, capable, but imprisoned by invisible walls. Yet the Stoics' newest secret, self-doubt is not reality. It is only perception. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Epictetus declared that no one could enslave you unless you surrender your thoughts. Their wisdom endures because it is practical. They did not wait for confidence to arrive, they built it. They turned pain into strength, silence into clarity, and setbacks into stepping stones. And today, their lessons can teach us how to destroy the roots of self-doubt. Not someday, but now. In this journey, you will learn 7 Stoic-inspired shifts, practical steps to break free from the voice of doubt. You will see how to stop chasing validation, how to build strength like a champion, how to turn pain into power, and how to walk each day with purpose and clarity. This is not abstract philosophy. This is a map, tested across centuries, showing you how to stand unshaken in a chaotic world. By the end, you will no longer wonder if you are enough. You will know. And once you know, doubt has no power over you again. Principle 1. Stop seeking validation. Start trusting yourself. The first mindset shift is simple, yet radical. Stop living for applause. Most of us shape our choices to win approval, waiting for likes, nods, and permission. But the Stoics remind us, true freedom begins when your worth no longer depends on shifting opinions. Confidence built on others will always collapse because people are inconsistent. Today they praise, tomorrow they criticize. If you want unshakable strength, you must build it on your own conviction. Trust your voice more than the crowd's, and self-doubt begins to starve. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This paradox fuels doubt. You say you value yourself, yet you hand over your worth to strangers, critics, even loved ones clouded by fear. Why let their limited vision limit your life? No emperor, no thinker, no creator in history waited for applause to begin. They trusted their path, even when no one else could see it. That trust is the soil where confidence grows. Imagine the writer who never finishes their book because no one cheered them on, or the dreamer who never starts their business because they feared laughter. In every case, the tragedy is not lack of ability, it is lack of self-trust. Champions of history moved forward without applause. Seneca taught that a gem cannot be polished without friction, so why wait for others to polish you with their praise? The truth is harsh, but liberating. No one will ever give you permission. You must give it to yourself. So how do you begin trusting yourself? Start with small promises. Wake up when you said you would. Write the page. Keep the commitment, no matter how small. Each act is a vote of confidence, proof that you can rely on you. Over time, these small votes build into unshakable trust. When silence comes, you know it is not absence of worth. When criticism comes, you know it is only opinion. Stop waiting for nods. Stop begging for respect. The moment you choose yourself, the cage begins to break, and doubt loses its fuel. Principle 2. Build mental strength like a champion. Self-doubt thrives in weakness. It grows in the cracks of an undisciplined mind. Champions know that confidence does not magically appear. It is forged through discipline, resilience, and relentless preparation. The runner who trains at dawn when no one is watching. The writer who faces the blank page daily. The leader who decides with clarity under pressure. These are not glamorous moments, but they build an inner fortress. If you want to silence doubt, you must train your mind as a champion trains the body, through effort, repetition, and unwavering consistency. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The Stoics saw freedom not as doing whatever you want, but as ruling over your impulses, mastering your thoughts, and acting with discipline even when discomfort presses hard. Champions embody this truth. They feel fear, fatigue, and hesitation like anyone else, but they do not obey those feelings. They move forward anyway. Each choice against comfort is proof. Self-doubt may whisper, but it cannot command. The stronger your self-mastery, the weaker doubt becomes. Think of the athlete who has trained thousands of unseen hours before the medal ceremony. Or Thomas Edison, failing hundreds of times before inventing the light bulb. Their strength was not luck, it was forged in repetition, in showing up when no one applauded. Self-doubt thrives when we wait to feel ready. But readiness is not a gift, it is generated by practice. Every small act of persistence is a hammer blow against doubt's walls. Champions are not fearless. They are simply stronger than fear because they have rehearsed resilience until it became second nature. So where do you begin? Start small. Finish the task when you'd rather quit. Face the uncomfortable conversation instead of avoiding it. Stick to your plan when distractions pull you away. Each choice is a repetition in the gym of the mind. Over time, these reps create strength that doubt cannot penetrate. And remember, recovery is part of toughness. Champions rest, reflect, and return stronger. The discipline of preparation and the wisdom of balance combine to create unshakable confidence. When you train like a champion, self-doubt has no oxygen left to breathe. Principle 3. Turn pain into purpose. Pain is often misread as proof of weakness. When life wounds us, through failure, rejection, or loss, doubt rushes in to whisper, "See, you were never enough." But the Stoics knew differently. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Pain is not the enemy, it is the pathway. Every scar can become strength, every hardship a teacher. The moment you stop running from pain and begin to shape it into purpose, self-doubt begins to die. Marcus Aurelius declared, "The obstacle is the way." These 5 words have carried countless souls through despair into strength. Pain is not proof you are failing. It is evidence you are alive and growing. Like the blacksmith's fire forging steel, suffering tempers the soul. Doubt whispers that pain means you should stop. Philosophy replies, pain means you are being shaped. To the Stoic mind, every hardship contains within it the seed of power, waiting to be claimed. History is full of those who turned wounds into wisdom. The artist who painted heartbreak into timeless beauty. The leader who transformed personal loss into compassion for others. The athlete who rose from injury to victory. Their pain could have silenced them, but instead, it gave them voice. Imagine your own life. Every rejection, every loss. What if each was not wasted, but repurposed into strength? Pain can either imprison you in doubt or propel you toward destiny. The choice is yours. How do you turn pain into purpose? First, stop avoiding it. To numb or escape is to teach yourself you cannot handle it. Face it directly and listen. Second, ask, what is this pain here to teach me? Every rejection teaches resilience. Every failure teaches strategy. Every loss teaches empathy. Third, channel it outward. Use your lessons to serve others, to inspire, to build, to heal. Pain is no longer wasted. It becomes meaningful. And meaning is the ultimate antidote to doubt. Principle 4. Practice surrender. Let go of what you can't control. One of the greatest sources of self-doubt comes from clinging to control. You wait for outcomes, for approval, for life to bend to your will. And when it doesn't, you whisper, maybe I am not enough. But the Stoics taught, much of life will never belong to us. Fortune, timing, opinions of others. To doubt yourself because of what you cannot command is to fight shadows. The shift begins with surrender. Stop gripping what was never yours and start mastering what always was: your mind, your actions, your choices. Epictetus wrote, "Some things are in our control and others not. If you confuse them, you will suffer." These words are a compass. Anxiety, fear, and doubt thrive when we obsess over what others think or when opportunities don't arrive in our timing. But freedom comes when we remember, effort is ours, outcome is not. You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust your sail. Once you accept this, self-doubt loses its grip because you are no longer demanding guarantees, only committing to your own strength. Think of a traveler fighting against a raging tide. He exhausts himself, thrashing against the current, but makes no progress. Another traveler surrenders. He learns to swim with the flow, to guide his strength where it matters. The first collapses in doubt, the second grows in wisdom. Life is the same. When you cling to outcomes, you waste your energy on the uncontrollable. But when you surrender, you discover power, clarity, focus, presence. True strength is not resistance, it is alignment. To practice surrender, ask, is this within my control? If yes, act with full courage. If no, release it. Write it down, speak it aloud. Remind yourself, this is not mine to carry. Redirect your energy into what you can command: your effort, your integrity, your preparation. Champions do not waste their minds on the scoreboard. They lock into the game before them. In surrender, there is no weakness, only freedom. And in freedom, self-doubt starves, because doubt feeds only on chaos. When the noise ends, clarity remains. Principle 5. Visualize a future that silences doubt. Self-doubt thrives in uncertainty. When your future is vague, your mind fills the empty space with fear. You don't know where you're going. You're lost. You're not capable. But the truth is, the future is not discovered. It is designed. Champions, leaders, and philosophers create inner clarity before outer success. When you paint a vision vivid enough, doubt cannot argue with it. The fog of hesitation lifts when your mind already sees the horizon. What you imagine consistently, you begin to become. Neuroscience now confirms what the Stoics practiced. The mind rehearses reality before it happens. Marcus Aurelius wrote of premeditation of adversity, visualizing hardships to strip them of fear. Champions do the same. They see the race, the speech, the challenge 1,000 times before it arrives. They practice belief until it feels inevitable. Self-doubt feeds on unknowns, but visualization starves it by replacing uncertainty with rehearsal. The more vivid the vision, the quieter the whisper of fear. Picture two runners. One arrives at the starting line full of nerves, never having imagined this moment. The other has already run the race 1,000 times in his mind. He knows every stride, every breath, every challenge. Who carries more confidence? The same is true in life. Without vision, doubt writes the story for you, and it always writes a tragedy. But when you reclaim the pen and picture your life with clarity, you silence doubt before it even speaks. To visualize is to author your future. How do you practice this? Start small. Close your eyes and see yourself succeeding at one task you've been avoiding. Imagine the room, the faces, the emotions, the details. Then expand the vision. How do you walk, speak, and carry yourself a year from now if doubt no longer rules you? Repeat this daily. Visualization is not fantasy, it is training. You are rehearsing confidence until it becomes memory. When you've already seen victory inside, no obstacle outside can convince you otherwise. Principle 6. Find balance between ego and humility. Self-doubt often lives between two extremes: too much humility, where you erase yourself, and too much ego, where you project a fragile mask. Both feed insecurity. The Stoics taught that strength lies in balance, walking the middle path where you recognize your worth without arrogance and admit your flaws without shame. This quiet confidence, grounded in truth, cannot be shaken by applause or criticism. When you no longer need to pretend to be less or more than you are, doubt loses its grip. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, wrote constantly to remind himself, "Do not value yourself more highly than is just, nor less." Even the most powerful man in Rome practiced humility, yet he never denied his strength. Ego without humility blinds you. Humility without courage erases you. True balance is not weakness, it is steadiness. It is knowing exactly where you stand. And when you stand in truth, self-doubt has no foothold to cling to. Imagine the proud general, puffed with ego, who crumbles at the first defeat. Or the timid thinker, so humble he never speaks, and his wisdom dies unheard. Both extremes feed self-doubt, one through collapse, the other through silence. The Stoics modeled another way. Acknowledge weakness without shame, acknowledge strength without arrogance. Like a tree that bends but does not break, balance makes you unshakable. The louder the world shouts, the steadier you remain. To practice balance, be radically honest. Admit your strengths without apology. Hiding them feeds doubt. Admit your weaknesses without fear. Denying them makes you fragile. Accept praise, but don't be inflated. Accept criticism, but don't be crushed. Ground your confidence in action, not image. Each time you act with courage and steadiness, you reinforce authenticity. And authenticity is the one place self-doubt cannot survive. Balance is freedom, no longer proving, no longer pretending, simply being. Principle 7. Recover from setbacks with resilience. Self-doubt strikes hardest when we stumble. A failed attempt, a rejection, a closed door, doubt whispers, "See, you weren't capable." But failure is not proof of inadequacy. It is proof of engagement. The Stoics saw setbacks as friction that polishes the soul. To doubt because of failure is like doubting the fire because it burns. It is its very burning that gives warmth. Resilience is the art of rising again, of turning every fall into a stepping stone toward strength. Seneca reminded us, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." To the Stoics, adversity was never an interruption to life. It was life itself. Champions of history understood this. Edison reframed every failed experiment not as defeat, but as progress. The lesson is clear. Setbacks are not signs that you should stop. They are signs that you are in the arena. Each trial is not punishment, but preparation. Think of Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before the light bulb glowed. Imagine if he had listened to doubt at attempt number 50 or 500. Or Michael Jordan, who missed game-winning shots but turned failure into training. Doubt wants you to see setbacks as verdicts. Resilience reframes them as rehearsals. Every stumble becomes part of the process, not the end of it. The gem shines because of friction. The athlete triumphs because of missed shots. The thinker grows because of wrong turns. To recover with resilience, shift the question. Instead of, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can this teach me?" Every rejection can sharpen resilience. Every mistake can refine skill. Process the pain, extract the lesson, then move forward quickly. Don't replay failure until doubt multiplies. Define yourself not as someone who never falls, but as someone who always rises. When rising becomes your identity, doubt loses its sharpest weapon. Because no matter what, you are already stronger than yesterday. Self-doubt whispers, "You are not ready, not capable, not enough." But we have seen the truth. Doubt is not reality. It is only a habit of the mind. And habits can be broken. We have walked through 7 Stoic principles. Stop seeking validation. Build mental strength. Turn pain into purpose. Surrender what you can't control. Visualize a clear future. Balance ego and humility. And rise resilient after setbacks. Each shift cuts away at doubt until there is nothing left for it to cling to. Remember, you are not weak because you feel doubt. You are human. The difference between those who remain small and those who rise lies in how they respond. Will you listen to the whisper, or will you step forward despite it? The Stoics remind us, your power lies always in your choices. And when you choose trust over hesitation, discipline over chaos, clarity over confusion, you discover a strength that cannot be taken away. That strength is already within you, waiting to be claimed. Now, it is your turn. Choose one shift, Just one, and practice it today. Keep one small promise. Reframe one setback. Write down one vision. Stop waiting for the world's permission and give yourself your own. Confidence is not built in a single moment of triumph, but in 1,000 small acts of courage. Begin with one today. As the Stoics said, well-being is realized by small steps, but it is no small thing. Asterisk, this is Stoic Miracles, where ancient wisdom meets modern struggle. Remember, self-doubt may never vanish completely, but it will never own you again unless you allow it. The power to silence doubt forever is already in your hands. Claim it, live it, and let your life itself become the proof. Until next time, stand firm, walk with clarity, and remember our creed: strength in silence, power in purpose, freedom in the mind.